I hated my daughter's boyfriend until the night he saved my life. When Emily first brought James home, I couldn't stand him. His tattoos, motorcycle, and that smirk, everything screamed trouble. I'm a heart surgeon, and this guy fixed cars for a living. Not exactly what I wanted for my little girl. Every family dinner was torture. I'd give him cold one-word answers while Emily shot me disappointed looks. My wife would kick me under the table, but I didn't care. He wasn't good enough for Emily. But then came that stormy night when I had chest pains. Emily and my wife were at her dance recital an hour away. I was alone, sweating, my left arm going numb. James happened to stop by to pick up Emily's laptop. He took one look at me and knew. Instead of calling 911, he threw me in his truck. Said ambulances would take too long in this weather. He drove like a man possessed, taking back roads I didn't even know existed, ignoring the rain pounding against the windshield. Turns out I was having a massive heart attack. The doctor said if I'd waited for an ambulance, I wouldn't have made it. James stayed in the hospital all night, even after Emily arrived. I saw him pacing, calling his boss to say he'd miss work, refusing to leave until he knew I was stable. The thing that got me? He never told Emily it was him who saved me. Said I'd called him for a ride because I felt sick. The day I got home, I pulled him aside and apologized. He just smiled and said, "You're her dad. I get it. Last week I helped him pick out the ring." Funny how life works out sometimes.
How did a student scam spectacularly backfire? During midterms, our university library became a battleground for study space. Marcus, a business major known for his efficiency hacks, had devised a system. I'd watch him place laptops across 6 prime desks, claiming them for his study group that never appeared. Monday morning, I arrived at 6 a.m. to find Marcus setting up his territory. Saving spots for friends, he smiled. By 10 a.m., desperate students circled while his reserved spaces sat empty. I decided to investigate. Following Marcus to the cafe, I recorded him bragging, "I'm renting spots for $15 an hour, made $400 last week." The next day, I saw him turn away a nursing student who begged for just one spot for her exam. "Sorry, all reserved," he smirked, then texted someone offering the same spot for $25. I created a fake account and messaged him requesting spots. He quoted me $40 for premium locations with payment up front. I transferred the money while documenting everything. I interviewed 3 other students who'd paid Marcus. One international student had paid $50 for a spot Marcus double booked twice. I compiled all evidence and emailed our dean. Wednesday morning, security intercepted Marcus. The dean suspended his scholarship and ordered him to return the $2,200 he'd collected. His punishment? Monitoring the library's one-seat policy while wearing a vest labeled Space Enforcer. Have you ever uncovered a lie that completely changed your life? My mom was always different from other parents. Obsessively protective, checking ingredients in everything I ate, calling ahead to every restaurant. But that's just life when you have a deadly chocolate allergy. I spent my childhood watching other kids enjoy their candy bars and birthday cakes from across the room. One bite, she said, would kill me instantly. The fear was so real I'd get panic attacks just from someone eating an M&M nearby. She had a special file with every teacher, made me wear a medical bracelet, and carried 2 EpiPens everywhere. Parents would frantically hide their kids' chocolate when I came over, treating me like a ticking time bomb. While cleaning our basement last year, I found something odd. An old photo of my mom at a chocolate shop, smiling with some man. The date bothered me. It was 3 days after Dad's supposed car accident. Turns out Dad didn't die. He left us for the woman who owned that chocolate shop. Mom's lie about him was strange, but I had bigger things to worry about, like not dying from my deadly allergy. Yesterday, I needed medical clearance for a surgery. The doctor kept staring at my file, his expression growing darker with each page. He pulled up my records, 47 hospital visits over 15 years. Every single visit, he said quietly, was on March 16th, the day your father left. His hand moved to his desk drawer. Your mother claimed chocolate reactions each time. I watched in confusion as he placed a chocolate bar on his desk. There was never any allergy, he said, but there was a mother who couldn't let go of a chocolate shop affair.
Waiters, have you ever had to call the cops on your table? I work at an upscale steakhouse. 6 executives came in, their ringleader in his 50s, Rolex, $1,000 suit, arrogant smile. They ordered expensive wine, commenting on my appearance while ignoring their female colleague. When she stepped away, they leaned in, snickering. The ringleader placed his phone on the table facing her chair. When she returned, he covered it with a napkin, but the recording light was still blinking. Later, I found her crying in the restroom. She showed me her phone. They'd been secretly recording her, making comments about initiating her at their hotel. My manager wanted to handle it discreetly since they were important clients. I texted our ex-military chef instead. Chef approached their table. The ringleader snapped, "Get back to the kitchen." Chef played the group chat audio. The restaurant went silent. Diners turned to stare. "Do you know who I am?" the ringleader growled, standing up. "Don't care. Police are coming," Chef replied. The man swung at Chef. Big mistake. Chef had him pinned when officers arrived. Turns out he was on probation for harassment. They took him out in handcuffs. The woman still dines with us. Those executives, all fired. Sometimes justice gets served with dessert.
Have you ever hated your own child? I never thought I could. Sarah was always different. While other kids played with dolls, she conducted experiments, pulling wings off butterflies, watching ants burn under magnifying glasses. The therapist called it conduct disorder. My husband Mark insisted she'd grow out of it. We tried everything. Medications, specialists, different schools, nothing worked. Her little brother Tommy was her opposite. Gentle, kind, the type of kid who'd spend his allowance on food for stray cats. He idolized Sarah despite everything. Mark was the only one who could really connect with Sarah. They'd spend hours in his study, him teaching her about his work as a pharmaceutical researcher. Then Mark got sick. Heart problems, the doctor said. Natural causes. Sarah was 13 when he died. She seemed to improve after that. Started volunteering at the animal shelter. Got better grades. Grief can catalyze emotional growth, her new therapist explained. I desperately wanted to believe she was healing. 2 years later, Tommy started getting sick. Violent stomach pains, weekly hospital visits. The doctors were baffled. He'd improve at the hospital, get worse at home. I caught him hiding food, claiming he wasn't hungry. Late one night, I heard Sarah in the kitchen. Through the crack in the door, I watched her crushing something into Tommy's cereal. My hands shook as I grabbed the container. Pills from Mark's old prescription bottles. That night, as the police led Sarah away, she looked at me with her father's eyes. "You know what's funny, Mom? Dad didn't die from heart problems. He caught me practicing with his medications. Said he was proud of my interest in chemistry. Then he started feeling sick too."
Have you ever hated your own child? I never thought I would, until I discovered what my son was doing to pay for his little sister's cancer treatment. Emma was only 6 when she was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The bills were crushing us, $15,000 a month, even with insurance. I worked 3 jobs: warehouse, gas station, weekend construction. My wife cleaned offices after her grocery store shift. We were drowning. My 16-year-old son, Jake, had always been responsible. Honor roll, varsity baseball, never any trouble. But after Emma's diagnosis, he started acting strange. He came home with expensive gifts for Emma: American Girl dolls, Nintendo games, bags of her favorite organic gummy bears. When I asked where he got the money, he mumbled something about odd jobs for neighbors, mowing lawns, walking dogs. I wanted to believe him. We needed any help we could get. The gifts kept coming. A $200 tablet so Emma could watch movies during chemo, designer pajamas to replace the gowns she hated, a stuffed elephant that cost more than groceries. I got suspicious, but Emma's smile when she got those gifts, that was her only light. Then her treatment got worse. Standard chemo wasn't working. Her doctor recommended an experimental drug, $50,000 up front. Insurance wouldn't cover it. I spent 3 days calling every charity, foundation, begging for help. Nothing. At 2 a.m., I sat at the kitchen table, calculator in hand, figuring out if we could get a second mortgage, when Jake walked in. His eyes were red. He handed me a manila envelope for Emma's treatment. I opened it. Stacks of cash. All of it. $50,000. Where the hell did you get this? I demanded. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Does it matter? Emma needs it. It matters to me. Jake, where did this money come from? He stood there, tears falling. I can't tell you. The next day I followed him, called in sick, watched as he walked past the buses and student lot. A black Mercedes pulled up. The driver looked 40, in a tailored suit. Jake got in. I froze. 3 hours later, the same car dropped him at a downtown coffee shop. Jake walked out looking destroyed, stuffing something into his backpack. Cash. That night I confronted him. He broke down, sobbing like a 6-year-old. They pay me $2,000 to hang out, he whispered. Go to dinner, talk about school, pretend I'm their nephew or something. Sometimes more for... He couldn't finish. How long? Since Emma got sick. I found them online. There's this whole network. Rich guys who pay for company. I told them I was 18. His voice cracked. I'm saving Emma's life, Dad. That's what matters. I wanted to kill those men. Go to every place and tear them apart. I wanted to shake my son until he understood how wrong this was. But mostly I hated myself for being so desperate, so helpless, that my son felt he had to sacrifice himself. When I told him we'd find another way, that we'd figure something out, he looked at me with such anger. There is no other way, he said. I've watched you and Mom work yourselves to death for months. I've seen the bills you hide from Emma. I've heard you crying in the bathroom when you think no one's listening. And if Emma dies because you stopped me from saving her, I'll never forgive you. That hit me like a physical blow, because he was right. We had no relatives, no miracle fundraiser, no insurance appeal. Just my 16-year-old son selling himself to strangers so his sister could live. I'm in the police station parking lot. I turned in names, license plates, everything I could remember. The detective said they've been tracking the network for months. My son's testimony could help shut it down, but I didn't turn in the money. It's in our bank account. Emma starts her first experimental treatment tomorrow. The doctor says her chances jumped from 30% to 80% with this drug, and I hate that I'm grateful. I hate that I'm proud of Jake for being willing to give everything for his sister. I hate that I failed so badly as a father that my child had to make this choice. Most of all, I hate that if Emma survives, it's because of what those men did to my son. How do you live with that?